Here's Brody Brazil.
Obviously, there is a lot up in the air right now as it relates to a 2022 MLB season. As I record this, there's no agreement in place between the players and the league to even start or start on time. We don't know if it's going to be a shortened season. So yeah, there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of concern about baseball actually getting played. As for the Oakland A's, I have been thinking about their upcoming campaign whenever it starts, and specifically what it's going to be like for the brand new manager, Mark Kotsay. There are three feelings which become a lot more clear the more thinking I do about this. So let me begin with number one. Yeah, number one. I'm very excited for this opportunity for Mark. Now, he's never been a manager of a baseball team, and he's jumping right in at the major league level, but he's a former A's player. He's a California guy. He's been with this team in the last handful of years in a coaching capacity. He really understands the green and gold. And when I say that, you might receive it as, well, yeah, but can't anybody come in and kind of, gauge the culture and join in on that over a period of time? Yeah, I suppose, but, the team, the franchise, and he have so much history, and also he's got a large connection and bond to the current players that are there. More on that in just a second. I'm also here to tell you what an impossible job to jump into and shoes to fill when the last guy who did it was Bob Melvin, winningest manager in Oakland A's history. Yeah, that's intimidating to be the next guy in charge of field operations during a game as manager. But I think Mark learned a lot from Bob. Mark is still surrounded by a very similar coaching staff. I think Mark has a ton of support. Again, I mentioned before, he's never done this job before, especially at this level. I'm not even concerned by that. That's not even on the radar. I know he's going to have support. I know he's got the experience. I mostly know the respect that he had as a player with the Oakland A's and other teams, but specifically what I saw in covering him as an Oakland Athletics center fielder, but also the way that current players view him as a coach in the last handful of years. He was the third base coach last year. You can see the bond, you can see the respect, you can see the connection. So, number one, I am greatly excited for the opportunity. I knew there were internal and external candidates for the A's to go to in terms of their next manager. Mark was kind of the number one I was thinking about and hoping for, and now that we are months removed from that decision, I'm just glad that that's the avenue that they decided to go. Number two, I'm aware, and I guess I'm a little bit concerned of the possibilities. Now, there's Mark giving Sean Murphy a little fist pound there. Murph probably just went yard. But I don't know what the A's roster is going to look like shortly after the lockout concludes. You realize there's a lot of major league teams that decided not to go through with transactions of trades and signings because they didn't know what the salary cap structure would or wouldn't look like coming out of this lockout. A lot of teams just went into it quite dormant. And some suggest, and I think there is something to it, that the Oakland A's might be very active at the end of this lockout because they don't know the new structure or circumstances or situation that it might present. They're also apparently considering kind of a retooling of the roster, a cycle starting all over again. What I'm saying here, I'm aware of the possibilities that Mark Kotsay is taking over this team. As of right now, their roster looks as such with a Matt Chapman, a Matt Olson, a Chris Bassett, a Frankie Montas, a Sean Manaea, a Sean Murphy. I'm aware of the possibility that by opening day, whenever that is, the roster may not look as primed for here and now as it does on this day. I said aware, maybe nervous. I want Mark to have all the tools as manager. I want him to have the opportunity to jump into something and have success with it. And I don't want it to become a situation where he's viewed differently because the team didn't perform as expectations were 1, 2, 3 years ago. But that was a totally different team. I want him to have all the resources and benefits of a good team and a good roster that's built to win some games in 2022. But again, I'm aware of the possibility that the whole chemistry of the Oakland A's on the field, the whole personnel of it, could significantly change by the time he actually manages a game. And that brings me to number 3. We're also talking about the lockout ending and what the A's might or might not do in terms of transactions and signings and anything else in between. But I'm upset about this situation for Mark that it's his first go-around as a manager, especially at the big league level. I can tell you this for right now, even if the players and MLB agree to something right now, spring training is going to be condensed, shortened. He's not going to have the full experience to ease into this situation. He, as well as his players, at some point, they're going to get shot out of a cannon right into the regular season. They're not going to have as much time to get this thing going. Again, I'm upset about that for Mark because this is going to be an atypical start to a managerial career where there's already a potential for, certain turnover, personnel changes. There's a lot's going to happen quick before Mark Kotsay gets to even manage a game. So I am kind of upset about the situation that he's not going to get the full and normal spring training to ramp up into this season, to make proper evaluations, to get to know his team. It's going to be very much on the fly, very much seat of your pants. So to summarize, those are my 3 feelings for Mark Kotsay. The most overwhelming one was first. By the way, these were in order. Number 1 is that I'm very excited for the opportunity. Number 2, bit concerned about what he'll get to work with on the field. And number 3, it's not optimal that spring training is going to be one of the shortest ever, and he's going to get right into doing the job, hopefully sooner than later for an MLB opening day.